7. The event table. Events in the VenueMagick event table function differently from timeline events. Timeline events trigger at a specific time during the timeline playback. Event table events, however, are constantly watching for certain conditions to set them off. Such a condition may include pushing an input button on our node. And up until now, we've been running our node timeline by clicking on this Q button. You may also recall that we set this Q button to also be triggered when the first button on our node is pressed. This is great, except we always need VenueMagick running in order to play the timeline on the node. You see, there is no way to export a Q button to the node. However, we could do the same thing using the event table. Open the VenueMagick event table by selecting Events, Event Table. Click on Add and select the Run Timeline event. From the Event tab, select our timeline and then click on the ShowNodes tab. Here are two settings we need to set up. We've already seen this setting. It lets us specify which node will be receiving the event, in this case, my node 1. This setting specifies which node is going to send this event. Every show controller node has its own event table. We need to tell this event which node has the event table that it will be part of. For now, we only have one node to choose from, my node 1. Now we need to tell the event what condition will cause it to trigger. Select the Conditions tab and click Add. These first two settings will leave as is. Click the Select button and then work your way to the second digital input of my node 1. Select that and click OK. For compare operation, select greater than, and for value number 2, enter 50 and click OK. Now click OK for the Event Properties window. Granted, we did just do a whole lot of stuff without much explanation. For now, it's sufficient to know that we just added a Run Timeline event to the table and set it up to trigger when button 2 on my node 1 is pressed. If you want to know more about the event table and what we just did, push F1. VenueMagick Help gives a great explanation of how this all works. Now back to our event. Make sure Disable Events when window is closed is not checked. From here, it's really just a simple matter of building and uploading to the node. Now, just to be fair, let's disconnect the network cable from the node again to show that VenueMagick is not controlling this. Then push the Node button. Just for the fun of it, let's set up the third button to stop all playback. Start by opening the event table and adding a QList command event. Select Stop All. Add the condition of pressing the third button. Set the parent and target node. And finally, build and upload to the node. Now push the button. Wasn't that simple? You may have noticed that we uploaded files to the node while it was playing a timeline. ShowNodes will allow this. In fact, you can upload and update to a timeline while that same timeline is playing on the node. Any changes to the timeline will take effect the next time the timeline is run. If the timeline is looping, changes are applied at the end of the current loop before the start of the next one. In this video, we covered how ShowNodes works with the VenueMagick event table. Again, we recommend that you take time to review the help documentation for the event table, as well as the section on event conditions. Remember, F1 is your best friend. So far, we've been learning ShowNodes with only a single node connected to the network. In our next video, we'll find out some of the amazing things we can do when we start adding more nodes to the project.